first Waxing Lyrical. That's what we are.
Wow, thanks. Yes.
Thanks for coming along.
Hey, if you don't know what you've stumbled into, that's all right, neither do we. This is our first time, so bear with us and we'll bear with you. This is called Waxing Lyrical, and our pitch for this is to have a local artist sort of talk show, play a bit of live music. We want to get to know some artists locally as you're enjoying your dinner.
Well, hey. Technical difficulties.
That guy, who invited that guy?
We need a better drummer.
If you don't know us, I'm Aaron and this is Caleb. We're a part of a band in Albany called Flood the Moon. We play electronic dance rock usually, but tonight we're going to do a bit more stripped back stuff, aren't we?
That's right. And so, before we get into playing our songs, I thought I'd give you a quick rundown as to how the night's going to look. So, we're going to invite a guest on. They're going to come and chill out on the couch. We're going to talk to them, find out about them, learn a bit about them in general, and then a bit about their musical, maybe inspirations, and then they're going to play a couple of songs. They'll talk through those songs so that we can glean something more from those songs, and then we'll do that with another guest and another guest. And the idea is that you guys will get to know your local talent, because it is such a great location down here in the Great Southern. It's such a creative place, and 6 Degrees so champion original music that they've taken a risk and are letting us do this.
And it is a risk, believe me.
So, I suppose let's get into an original song.
Cool. So we're going to play 2 original songs for you first, a little bit different to how we normally play them, a bit more stripped back, and we're going to talk a little bit about what inspired us to write them and what they're about.
Yeah. So the first song we're actually going to perform is a song called Bon Voyage.
Uh-huh.
Now, Bon Voyage was a really unique experience for us, because it was the first time that we'd actually been contacted by somebody to write a song for something. So it actually wasn't, I don't know, personal inspiration or a heartbreaking moment.
It's kind of like a job, wasn't it?
It wasn't. We actually got paid to write a song for somebody. And so, who was it that contacted us, Aaron?
There was a festival called Sea Change, or an organisation called Sea Change, which do similar things. They get amongst communities and get involved with the local artists. There was some groups that wrote a dance, a local dance here,
Yep.
Let's Shine. They were a lot of fun. They wrote a dance that went along with this song, which was really cool.
Yep. And so I think we pretty much got given the brief to write a song about sea change, which was very, very loose. And I think when we first started the song, I don't know, I had this idea of sailing. You know, Albany's beautiful. But it didn't take long before we kind of realised that it could actually be more than that. And even though it was very loose, we kind of took it as an opportunity to actually showcase how beautiful Albany was and the inspiration it kind of gave us. So, because the people who were coming down to run this sea change, they're actually from Perth. So we kind of created this song almost as an advert for Albany.
Or a postcard.
Yeah, about living in Albany and the great things that brings. So let's have a run through it.
Cool. This song's called Bon Voyage.
Do you think that there's more than this? More than blue screen dopamine, more than biased bliss? She said, walking nowhere in a state of complicated kinesis. Something's gotta give. Did you think this is all we are? Even disco balls are made of broken glass. I can't stay here this time, wishing on the edge of a shoreline. Something's gotta give. Bon voyage to another day. Tomorrow we're gonna be far away. No more rainy days. I'm ready for change. Take me somewhere I can just believe in. Show me somewhere new I've never been. Whisper something to me like I know this feels right. When you find something you love, don't let go. We can make it if we just hold on. It's a roller coaster ocean, it's a glowing sun. She said, I don't know where we're going, but who said home is where you're home? I'm ready for this bon voyage to another day. Tomorrow we're gonna be far away. No more rainy days. I'm ready for change. Take me somewhere I can just believe in. Show me somewhere new I've never been. Whisper something to me like I know this feels right. When you find something you love, don't let go. When you find something you love, don't let go. When you find something you love, don't let go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So that first song was a song that we kind of got asked to write, and this next song is definitely a bit of a personal song for us. So the next song we're actually going to perform is a song called Dual Lane Roads. Dual Lane Roads, actually, I remember where I was sitting when I wrote it actually. Sometimes when you're a musician, you're lucky enough to kind of sit down and write a whole song in a whole setting. And it was definitely one of those songs. I was sitting in the backyard on the love seat, and I was inspired by a couple of things that had happened, but mostly it was about a story. There's a really old story that you may have heard of. It's called The Prodigal Son, and in this story, there's two sons and a father. And this son effectively says to his father, I wish you were dead. Give me your money, my inheritance, the amount that I would get if you were to pass away. And so the dad lovingly does this for his son. And the son goes away to a city and lives it up and has a really good time. But eventually he runs out of money and he realises that it wasn't all that it was meant to be. And he gets to a point in the story, where he's feeding scraps to a pig, and he just wishes that he could eat the food that the pigs were eating because he was so poor. And he thinks to himself, if only I could go back to where my dad was, because even the servants in his household eat really, really well. And so there's a turning point in the story where the man decides to take the risk and to go home, not knowing what he's going to face when he gets there. And I mean, it's a story that really resonates with me. And one time when I was driving back from Perth, I'd really been ruminating about it. And really, that's kind of when the song kind of came to me. And I got home a couple of days later, sat down and wrote it out. And I mean, the story ends happily, if you know the story.
Good.
But at this point in the story, the man doesn't know. And so that's kind of, that little sliver of time is what this song is about. It's about not knowing but hoping. And even musically, there's that idea as well. In the final end of the song, we sing the same melody, we sing the same words, but the music underneath is actually major, it's hopeful. It's oh, maybe, just maybe.
As opposed to minor, because it starts
Yeah,
minor,
that's,
doesn't
sorry,
it?
yeah. So the original chorus is in a minor key. So that's really what this song is about. Let's give it a go.
Yeah. So it's called Dual Lane Roads. It's also inspired by a drive from Albany to Perth,
Yeah,
isn't
of
it?
course. That's what
We need more dual lane roads, if any politicians listening. This is actually my favourite song that Caleb's ever written. Just
so you know. The car ride home, 5 albums long, but only need one on repeat, and it's always the same. The words we think don't mean a thing, and the trees I pass swing in the breeze, and they sway just the same. Two-lane roads seem better when the fluoro splutters up against the gutter. I'm either lost or I'm heading home. I'll be in ecstasy if no one sees. Hope that if they do, they won't believe it's me. I know they whisper my name. My tail between my legs, I'm coming home if you let me. Could your lips say my name? I'll be yours if you have me. Two-lane roads seem better when the fluoro splutters up against the gutter. I'm either lost or I'm heading home. Seems I come driving, trying to get home on a feeling. The shadows are rising, right, and I hope you'll be there. I know my emotion is high tonight, and I need you to know I've been hurting, but it's all on me. I need you to know that Frankie goes to Hollywood, found it empty, oh, so empty. Two-lane roads seem better when the fluoro splutters up against the gutter. I'm either lost or I'm heading home. I hope I find myself heading home. Two-lane roads seem better when the fluoro splutters up against the gutter. I'm either lost or I'm heading home. I hope I find myself heading home, heading home. Do 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 Thank you.
Thank you very much. So now it's time for us to get our first guest out.
We were just the support acts.
Yeah, quite literally. Tonight we will be the support act to the guests that are coming out here. So our first guest likes to collect coins and crochet, but she isn't here tonight to make a scarf. She is here to talk about her love of music and writing sweet melodies to perplexing situations. She has a bright future and has already begun to find her very own sound. She is Jeannie M. Give her a round of applause. Jeannie M.
Welcome, Jeannie. How you going?
Hi, I'm great. Thank you so much for having me, and thank you everyone for being here.
Is it turned up?
That was technical. Oh, no.
1, 2, 1, 2.
You're already in my
Like that?
2, 1, 2.
Well, yeah.
You maybe just...
Yeah, on the mic. Thank you so much for having me, and thank you everyone for being here. This is so exciting. I'm nervous.
Well, it's exciting for us as well because we're very fresh at this as well. So, but thank you for being our first guest on our first ever Waxing Lyricals. Now, Ginny, have you always lived in Albany?
No, I've lived a little bit all over the shop. I've grown up sort of going back and forth between a little town called Crowborough in the UK and then in a few different country towns around WA. And I've been in Albany for the past 3 years.
Great.
Nice.
And just recently, you've actually travelled all the way from the equator to be here tonight. Is that correct?
Yeah. I just wonderful time, and I just got back from Bali 2 days ago when we had a big family reunion with my sister who's here tonight. She's over in the UK.
Tell you what, I think we'll just use this one, Bev. There we go.
Sorry about that. That one's a lot better. Okay, put that down there.
So sorry, so you travelled back from Bali.
From Bali, where we had a big 60th birthday party for my auntie, and we went there with my sister, and she's here tonight, and it's the first time I've seen her in about 4 years because she lives in the UK at the moment with my dad. So this is just, it's been great to catch up with all my family, and yeah, it was just a lovely little family holiday.
And you didn't catch Bali Belly, obviously?
No, but I think I brought back some bad weather with me because I did miss the sun, though. It was lovely to be there.
Albany's not known for bad weather, is it, at all?
No. I moved here thinking that it would be a change from the UK. Yeah.
So, Trini, I think the first time that we met would have been maybe about a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago. I think it was...
Yeah.
I got brought up by Steve Doherty.
Steve Doherty.
Is that correct?
Yeah.
Local legend, if anyone
Yeah.
So, in musical circles, Steve Doherty has had a lot to do with a lot of up-and-coming musicians.
Yeah. He's been amazing at supporting us, particularly with performing live.
Yeah.
He was, Steve Doherty, he teaches at St Joseph's, but he is really good at finding, us budding musicians, at young ages and just getting us into these places where we can bask or actually play a gig to start lifting us up really early on. I mean, I'm 18 and I'm sitting up on a talk show about my live music, so that's pretty cool, and I thank Steve Doherty a lot for that. So, yeah.
You know what's cool? We were actually in your position when we were 18, shows Steve's age and also shows
Yeah.
He did exactly the same thing for us, which we were very thankful for.
Oh, well, that's wonderful.
Pretty cool.
Snap, I didn't know that. That's so cool.
There you go.
Yeah.
And he's been curating local, or inspiring local musicians for a long, long time.
Yeah, he has.
So I think he called me up because you've got a band, Junie and Trio, correct?
Yeah, and you filled in for bass, but usually it's like a little jazz blues trio. You might have seen us around before, but I just get to sing in that one, so it's great because I don't have to worry about messing up any guitar parts. But
Just sing.
It's
You'll
amazing.
Later, Ginny has a phenomenal voice.
Oh, thank you.
Just sing.
But and there was just one of these gigs where our pianist couldn't make it, and Caleb filled in, and it was just like, wow, who's this amazing bassist outplaying everyone, stealing the show. But yeah, it was amazing. That was really yeah. So that was how we met, and I've been in that trio for since I moved to Albany. It formed pretty quickly, and then I've also just been getting more and more into solo stuff.
So how long ago did you start Junie?
Just me on my own. I suppose I kind of would do gigs at the boat shed markets and at farmers markets, just busking and little hours here and there. But I'd be lying if I said I haven't been doing solo the whole time. I don't know why I said I've just started.
Yeah.
I feel like turning 18 means that I've been taking more responsibility in booking my own gigs and providing my own PA and things, but Steve's been really good at actually getting me gigging on my own from the start. So I've been doing gigs with the City of Albany and the boat shed markets since I moved here, which was when I was 15.
So. Great. Cool. So 3 years.
Yeah.
Very cool. I hear you've got a House of the Rising Sun story.
Oh,
Can you enlighten us on that?
God, okay. So I trust everyone knows that song, the Animals version of House of the Rising Sun. Yeah. In New Orleans. Yeah, that one. And I do it in my trio with, the pianist in the band. He's called Ben Petty. Amazing, amazing pianist. And he covers the bass on the bottom hand and then just, works magic on the rest of the keyboard in our gigs. And we do this one song. And we were doing it at the Albany show 2 years ago. And everyone was getting into it. We had a little bit of a crowd and you're really feeling the groove. It's a great song. And we were singing and it was great. And we got up to the point where there's that awesome solo that everyone knows. And then the power went out just before the solo. And it was,
What was the crowd's response?
You're kidding. Oh, yeah. And then they powered it back up again. And we thought, okay, we'll take this on from the top because this was going great. Everyone was loving it. It didn't take us long to get the power back on. We haven't lost the mojo yet. And we got there, went through the first, second verse, and the power went out again right before Ben's solo. He never got the chance to show off that he learnt that thing on the keys. And
no one
bless him.
air solo.
Even the mics were out. There was nothing. And it was.
So when did you discount the song?
We actually got off stage. The power just refused to come back on after that, and we had to cut our entire set short, which was a shame. But
well, just to let you know, I know back when festivals were a thing.
Yeah.
Are they still a thing?
Back when they were, yeah. Is that Space Fest? And yeah.
Like the big ones, like Big Day Out and Blue Dog Roads. I know. But I remember my wife went to go see Goitier at one of them, and that was before he had his big hit. Yes, that one. But his big song at the time was Heart's a Mess. I don't know if you know that song.
No.
Again, beautiful, beautiful, slow building song. And same thing, got to the pinnacle, power cut out.
Maybe it's
so it happens to the pros.
maybe something terrible happened if we reach that pinnacle. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe it's just not meant to be.
So obviously we know that you do covers because a lot of musicians start off doing covers.
Yeah.
The first song we learn usually isn't our own song. We learn someone else's song. It's a good way to.
Yeah.
Water was mine, I think.
Was it?
Yeah.
First song you learned?
Riptide. I
Riptide.
feel like it's a classic, but yeah. If anyone has kids, you've probably been to a concert where they all play Riptide on the ukulele.
Yeah.
I actually had a really good interview with Vance Joy, and they played a snippet of his song, a song, and asked Vance Joy, the artist, to name the song, and he could not name the three songs of the same three chords.
Oh no.
Hey, he's a magician, it works.
Yeah.
My first song might be Blister on the Sun. Blister on the Sun.
Oh, I love that one.
That's not even the bass line. I played it on bass. I think the bass line's actually completely different, but I learned it wrong. So there you go. My first time.
Yeah.
So covers, and then you transitioned into originals.
Yeah.
How did that happen? Did that happen before you moved to Albany? Were you already playing guitar?
Not really.
No.
No, it's all quite. I wouldn't say. There was little. When you grow up in a really musical household, just singing and dancing around, you make things up on the spot just for fun. Like we'll take our dog on a walk and we'll sing about taking our dog on a walk. But it was really recently actually that I started writing songs and actually thinking, why not record them and actually try and make something of them, make them structured, make them have real meaning. And actually, again, I'm lying. I was kind of forced to do it because I did a Certificate 3 in music, which entails you having to write 2 original songs. So it wasn't my own idea to write originals, it was the course that I was in. But then I just have ran with it since, and now I've got an album coming out in about a month or so.
Very exciting.
Yeah.
Where are you recording that locally down here?
Yeah, I'm recording it locally, and I'm also just partly on my own, with all the amazing technology you can get now. You can just do it on your own with a little Apple Mac or a good laptop, yeah.
So just to go back a bit, you said you grew up in a musical household, so who else plays music in your family?
It's just singing. Like we all just, get in the car and you just sing your heart out to everything. And I think my mum used to play the flute, but
Mum, yeah?
Yeah, she is. She's here with my sister. They're way out the back. Or the whispering.
She forgot who she was.
Oh no. Yeah.
Is there any flute records that you listened to growing up? Pan flute? There's one.
No.
Meditation CDs, I think.
No, Mum was a big she used to big. I grew up with like Keep Calm and Relax mixes, the top mixes in the UK at the time. So I grew up with all the top hits. And then when Justin Bieber released his album Purpose, it was that on repeat for me. And I look at Justin Bieber and Katy Perry.
Well, I'm glad to see one of them.
She's gonna hate me revealing her guilty pleasure music in front of everyone. Yeah.
Well, I think Mum's influence was Michael Jackson for me. I mean, there's a lot of Shania Twain, but that didn't rub off as much.
Was that where the bass playing was came from?
Nah, I think I first wanted to be a drummer. Oh. And I realised I wasn't very good at it. And then I saw somebody play the bass one day. And I remember actually, I was at a school assembly, and there was this guy sitting there, and he was playing bass that he actually made himself. And it was like the graduation assembly. And so, I don't know why, but they were playing, is it Weezer?
Oh, Under the Sun? I think I was there.
Yeah.
It wasn't me, but I was there.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that was the moment where, because the lead singer was playing that.
That was a big song.
Anyway, so that's what I was saying.
That's a great song.
And so you started on guitar?
Yeah. I just decided that I wanted a guitar one day, and it's only ever really been that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think partly I went for guitar because I would spend so many times going over to my friend's house and playing Guitar Hero at hers, and I was like, imagine doing this with a real guitar. And then I went to a concert for one of my favourite artists ever. He's called Noah Kahan. And just to see him up there, with this acoustic guitar just singing his heart out, I was just like, okay, that's it. I've got to beg for one for my birthday.
So, I don't know Noah Kahan, but what kind of music does he do? Is he a major inspiration for how you write music?
I think so. I think so, yeah, definitely. There are lots of different elements, and sometimes I think the songs I've chosen for everyone tonight are relatively similar, but I can go left of field and suddenly pull out a really gainy electric guitar, but generally speaking it's quite folky. That's Noah Kahan's music, that's mine, quite similar sounding, and I love fingerstyle guitar picking, and just all the different percussive elements as well that you can get from playing an acoustic guitar that he uses, and what I find I like to use a lot as well in my music, and even just the way I cover certain songs that I'll play around town.
Your influences, do you find you write music similar to your influences, or do you just take elements of your influences and do your own new thing?
I hope it's not too similar, because then it's just a cover. I find actually maybe I tend to write songs, they sound really similar to the songs I've just been listening to previously. So if I've been listening to Hosier, who he sung Take Me to Church, but he also does mainly lots of really complex fingerstyle guitar, I'll find that when I'm just sitting down trying to write and I'm noticing that I'm playing the same style he is, and I'm like, oh, that's because I've listened to him. I reckon if I put on some Nirvana, maybe it would change. But yeah, I just copy what I've just listened to. I'm like a magpie or a bird.
Mockingjay?
Yeah, that's it. I can't think of... Oh yeah, Hunger Games.
It is interesting the way that the music that we listen to can influence us. I know when I wrote that Jingle Lane Road song, I was listening to a lot of Starflight 59, which is very just like straight, slow, pretty boring rock, but it really resonates with me. And so I think when I wrote that song, I think it was like probably 40 BPM slower. And it's sweet.
He writes everything in sweet.
No, yeah.
And the melody was very monotone and flat, and so, I don't know, what do you think? Because I know you listen to much more, you listen to lots of different things, but like pop rock.
I grew up loving heavier guitar rock sort of thing, not metal, but heavy rock, in the sort of noughties. But I discovered synths in the sort of 90s, and I was gone. gone for synth. So I love electronic music and stuff with arpeggiators and big synth sounds, very 80s inspired. I'm not sure where that's come from. I was just born in the 80s, so perhaps that's it. But I find with us, we both have opposite ends of the spectrum in terms of influences, but when we write, sort of somewhere in the middle, I'm not sure.
That you guys sound amazing. I mean, I played before them at the recent Binnalup Festival, and it's just an insane mix, and I love the synth. So you guys sound amazing, but yeah, it is really interesting the way that everyone writes so differently and has different influences. It's so cool.
Yeah, that's right. And even the way that people do covers is very different as well. Like you can hear the cover. And of course, like you have bands and people that will try and nail it. I think naturally people will play things their own kind of way, like say like naturally small things. But people do even like the melody will slightly change, or you know, it'll be slower or faster.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you're recording at the moment, Junior. Have you got a plan? Have you got an album coming out, or an EP, or just a song?
Yeah, a little EP, I think. And it will be coming out soon, very soon. I've got almost all the songs nailed, down pat. And yeah, I'll just release it out on Spotify. I just released my debut single in February this year, and that's gone so much better than I ever could have thought. I thought only my mum would listen to it and I'd have like 5 streams. But yeah, she's my groupie. But it's actually done great, and I thought, oh, why don't I just add more to it and release an EP, get all these songs I've written but never thought about actually materialising into something you can just access, searching up on your phone and like listening to through earphones. But
so an EP being not a full-length album, EP
yeah,
especially produced, so 5 or 6 songs?
Yeah, about 5. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Right. That's exciting. And I know that, like, because we've done recordings since, like, maybe I was still in high school when I first did it. And, like, this isn't to downplay. Your first recordings are going to be 1,000 times better than what ours were. But, like, our first recordings, I listen back to them now and I kind of shudder a little bit. But I also love it because for me it's a time capsule. And so it's totally worth recording the songs. And then in like 5 years' time, you're going to record some new songs. And in another 10 years, you're going to listen to some new songs. And you're going to see like little progressions.
Just the changes.
Yeah, different changes. And like, they're not even all going to be good changes. Like sometimes you'll be like, oh, I was really into goth music at face or whatever it was. But like, it's always, for me, I always find it really, really good just to record it. Like, it's just so good. So you can go back and you can listen to it at any time.
Yeah.
And it's, I just think it's really precious.
That's so cool. I mean, I found the other day my old iPad and the voice memos section on that.
Yeah.
That was when I was first learning covers, so you can hear the really, you know, stuttering sounding guitar when you're still learning how to play fluidly. And my voice was like 10 octaves higher because I was like tiny. And it was really funny just hearing the progression, because sometimes I still play the same covers that I learned initially when I was first playing guitar. So that was really fun to just hear the two back to back.
Because they were easy covers to learn, or is it because those songs actually meant something to you?
I think, probably just because they meant something to me. I've never actually been classically taught or had a teacher that teaches me how to play. I've always been self-taught, so I just gravitate towards songs that I already know and I already love, because I work very much off of memory. I'm very visual learner, and I've got a good ear for like remembering all the different little aspects of a song that really pull it together. So when I want to cover a song, I'll always choose a song that I know inside out already, and it means that I can put my heart and soul into making a cover that's my own and has those little nuances that also make it interesting with all those different dynamics. That
I remember listening to an interview with Paul McCartney once, and he was saying something similar.
Who's Paul?
Old guys, I have 4 little bands.
Little band?
Yeah, they're pretty underground, aren't they?
Yeah. I remember
Never heard of
saying,
them.
because back when they first started writing songs, they didn't have the technology we had where you can just like record it into your phone, this right here. And so he was saying it was actually the test of whether it was a good song or not, because he would go, I think that's a good song, I'll play it. And then the next day, if he can't remember it, he goes, oh, it wasn't a good song. So like if it was a memorable hook, if it was something that really caught his ear, he could remember it the following day. And I thought, well, that's pretty amazing. You know, even
That's a
those
smart way of looking at it.
limitations in technology
Yeah.
are actually advantages sometimes because you don't keep trying to polish a turd, maybe. I
Oh
don't know.
no.
But,
Yeah.
maybe, did you want to play us a song?
Yeah, I'd love to. Well,
So-
3?
Yeah.
Is that
let's
too
do it.
many?
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Cool.
Sweet, thank you.
So, we'll get ready for that. So just to give the punters an idea, the idea of tonight is that Flood the Moon is going to be the backing band for the artist. And so we had a quick catch up with Junie, I don't know, a week or so ago, and we went through a couple of songs. So Junie's picked 3 songs, and we're going to play along to them. So it's going to be a bit different to how you might have heard them previously with Junie. But yeah, maybe go and grab a drink now while we quickly
Yeah,
get
we'll
ready.
set
It'll
up
only
and-
be like 1-2 minutes max.
Thank you very much.
Chuck some house music on, maybe.
Yeah. Oh no. Okay, welcome back. I'm going to start off playing you one of the songs. This is one of the first songs I wrote. It was one of the ones that I had to learn or had to write for Certificate 3. And without going too in depth, I wanted to make a little bit of a groove to this song, but trying to capture that feeling of initial surprise when something catches you off guard. And in this case, the thing that caught me off guard was being called someone else's name. So this is called You Said Her Name, and I hope you like it. You said a name when we were making out. You said a name when we were making out. You said a name when we were making out. You said a name when we were making out. Sun was blue, the sky was nice and yellow. Ate my coffee, fell out of a window. Swam to the car, proceeded to start the day. Swear my mind was straight, just presently unfazed. All I know is that you said a name when we were making out. You said a name when we were making out. You said a name when we were making out. Did you just say a name when we were making out? In rewind, don't know what's wrong with this. She's in your mind from this mouth of mine, ain't it? thought too much about everything you say. Swear my mind was straight, just presently I'm faced. All I know is that you said a name when we were making our way. You said a name when we were making our way. You said a name when we were making our way. Did you just say a name when we were making our way? You said a name when we were making our way. Did you just say a name when we were making our way? You said a name when we were making our way. Did you just say a name when we were making our way? Ooh, thank you. Right, this next song is the one that I released in February. My debut single. It's the first one and only one I've actually put out into the world properly. And without going too deep, this is just called Sydney's Song, and I hope you enjoy it. It's been amazing to finally get that extra push I needed to work on my music and to get it out there and to release it. So I hope you enjoy. Stop asking me for favors is what my boy would say. For simply spending time with me is a favor in its way. In the outside world, he pretend I didn't exist. It's fine to say I don't know him, it's just shy in front of friends. Always wanted to think that this guy is somehow loved, treating me this way because he's just a naive child. Always wanted to think that this guy that I let in was an innocent naive child, but he's an intentionally mean man. The man who thinks he did no wrong, cheating on me. He tells himself it's all my fault and I'm overreacting. Would never get my hurt because he simply never cared. It's easier to lie, I guess, and admit you've been unfair. Always wanted to think that this guy is somehow loved, treating me this way because he's just a naive child. Always wanted to think that this guy that I let in was an innocent naive child, but he's an intentionally mean man. He used and used me. He trained me to a shell so he could step on me and crush me. This man I thought I knew so well. Okay, thank you for listening. And that one's out on Spotify. If you liked it, it's called Sydney's Song. But I'll lift the mood a bit because I've been singing pretty sad ones up until now. So this one is one of my newest songs, and it's about when you're dating someone that's just can't be where you are, and it's selfish to, still feel like it's not enough when you're in a mid-distance relationship. You're not that far away, but it's still wishing that they were right there next to you because you love them and you want to see them every day, but you can't. And yeah, so this is called 88 Days, and I hope you like it. We fit so well together. I know it's not been long, but it's just the way we ebb and flow. It's just so doable. I bet we could love each other forever. And I know life's just like this. We expected it exactly. And though it will be fine, our hopes are right in line. I still wish you didn't go away. Might just be 88 days, but can you blame me when you in my eyes for wanting to keep you from those 88 days? Well, do you like the sun? I'm down here in the frame. Let's talk every day on the phone till we're tired of each other's tones. And then I'll see you soon when seasons change. And I know life's just like this. We expected it exactly. And though it will be you didn't go away. Might just be 88 days, but can you blame me when you in my eyes for wanting to keep you from those 88 days? Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
So, while Junior gets settled on the couch, we'd love to invite our next guest up. And our next guest is Chris Nelson.
Chris Nelson, ladies and gentlemen.
I'll read your spiel, sorry.
Oh dear. We've got to give you an intro.
So, Chris is a multi-award winning singer-songwriter based in WA's Great Southern, drawing inspiration from esteemed artists such as Passenger, Bright Eyes, Gregory Alan Isakov. I think I pronounced that right. Chris has delicately crafted a sound that captures the essence of folk's heartfelt storytelling and indie's captivating energy. With over 15 years of experience under his belt, his original music has allowed him to tour as far as Canada, the US, and many times around WA and the eastern states. Picking up a couple of Wham's prestigious Song of the Year awards helped cement him into the WA music scene, laying supports with Australian heavyweights such as Josh Pike, Cav Temperley, Alex Lloyd, Carnival, John Butler, and most recently, the Rubens here in Albany. His debut, full-length album is set for release this year with 3 tracks already receiving nominations from Wham for Best Regional and Best Folk Artist. Please welcome Chris Nelson.
I think you can go after that. That's all we need. It's more accomplished than everyone.
I sent that to you guys, but it was all lies. So
It's all
yeah.
lies. It's all lies. Hey, thanks for being here, Chris.
Hey, thanks for having me, man. This is great.
I'm having a bit of a tangle up here. Is this Tangled, the movie?
So, Chris. That was a bad joke.
Oh, yeah, dude.
So, Chris, I think the first time that we met was going back a fair while ago, and I wouldn't even call it a meeting. We didn't meet. I think I was in the audience and you were on the stage, and it was.
Were you fanboy?
No, well, I was enjoying it, but it would have been at Ashes in the PAT. Would have been probably, I would have been, I reckon, year 11, year 12, so I reckon 05, which is a giveaway for my age.
Ashes is Albany Senior High School down here, if
Yeah.
anyone doesn't know.
Yeah.
The cool school, or it was when we were...
It was when we were going
to
through
I went to North Albany, which was the less cool school. It might have changed now.
But, and then, you were fronting 29 Shadows of September.
Yeah, man, that was like the first serious-ish band we had.
Yeah.
So we had gigs, we had we didn't have any merch, but we recorded, you know, we toured it.
Yeah.
We were just 3 kids, not really knowing how to play instruments. Nothing much has changed, but yeah, it was just good fun, and yeah, we just used to rehearse when the waves weren't good down here, and yeah, we just sort of tried to emulate all the punk bands that we liked, and it just turned into something that was kind of cool.
Yeah, I remember it being pretty heavy. Maybe
Yeah.
it was just, I mean, I wasn't listening to heavy music, so it was probably
No,
a bit
well,
harsh for me.
yeah, I think-
Like heavy for me, it was probably...
I was more into the skate punk kind of pop punk thing.
Yeah.
Think like early Blink 182 kind
Yeah.
of.
I
But
was a big fan.
I was a
Oh.
big Blink fan. I
Man.
think there was a lot of...
I still am a Blink fan to this
Yeah,
day.
yeah,
I love that band. Yeah. But yeah, our drummer loved all the heavy stuff, so he brought that in, and we thought, wow, look at this cool sound. We're mixing like a pop punk thing with like a bit of screaming, and then basically it wasn't unique at all. Like it was
Emo became a thing.
pretty much bad. Yeah, I'm not saying we were the first ones to do it, but we didn't do it because of that. But it became.
You're already riding the wave, mind the pun.
Yeah, well, I think a lot, like the pop punk thing, everyone went to hardcore music after that, so I think it was natural for that scene just to blend in.
Yeah.
And I guess we did the same thing. Our drummer was just a bit more trendy than us, so he was into whatever was cool at the time, where we were still listening to old, like, Vandals and Pennywise records and stuff like that.
Well, I think drummers just like playing metal. I don't like.
I think so,
hard and
yeah.
fast.
Because if you look at early punk stuff, it's like a lot of snare work, you know? Where the metal stuff's a bit more like, yeah, I can use some toms now.
It's more this
Yeah.
and China's.
Actually, we didn't let him have a double kick.
Good. Ooh.
But he was real quick, so it ended up sounding like that anyway. And I was like, damn it.
He's like, I'll show you.
Yeah.
Single kid.
And so in that band, like my memory is very, very foggy. I just remember you leading it. So were you playing guitar or bass?
I was playing guitar in that band, yeah.
Yeah.
It was power chords. I remember going into the studio to record that, and I was playing power chords wrong.
So
So
just for the punters, what's a power chord?
a power chord
Do you
is.
want to show us something?
Well, actually, I'm like the bad person to explain this because I was doing it wrong for like a decade.
You sound like the perfect person to explain this.
So a power chord is just when you don't know chords, like open chords. It's basically just the same shape that you move up and down the guitar, and you can hit
Do you
all
want to
the
show us,
notes.
Aaron?
So
Yeah, can you show us?
2 fingers. So a standard chord is, let's just say that's
Yeah.
a bar, B major, a bar chord. So a power chord is just 2 fingers, which is the first.
And that's how I was doing it, but I didn't even do the bottom finger.
You didn't do the bottom
So
fingers. you
it was
do
just
one
2 notes the whole way. Punk rock, man, it's
Yeah,
punk.
that's what
And
we
Crew
need.
like, I love how you're keeping it minimalist punk. And I'm like, what were you talking
What
about?
do you mean?
Like,
It's
yeah.
complex chords, man.
Yeah, it's like, this is how you do it,
Doesn't
isn't
matter
it?
if they're major or minor. I'm just That's pretty cool.
So one step back from 29 Shades of September. What did you have you growing up in Albany? What brought you? to
No,
Albany?
I grew up in the Midwest, just north of Geraldton, on a bit of acreage.
Jero.
Yeah, we just surfed, rode skateboards, threw tomatoes at cars, all the normal stuff you do.
Very
Um,
funky. Very cool.
Yeah, very pop punk. When the waves weren't good, we would just sit in our mate's shed, sing through. Everyone plugged into the same sort of guitar combo amp,
Yeah.
and we just used to go, this sounds so good. I remember our drummer's sister coming out and going, can you guys just stop? Like, just, it's not for you.
Can you start a song? What do you
Yeah.
think? So, did you watch a lot of Tension DVDs? I remember that was a thing.
I was actually on one.
Wow. So, I do know that you were pretty good bodyboarder.
Well, I maybe was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did I say past tense?
One step back. What is it? What was Attention DVD? Is that really like?
You can tell us about Tension DVDs.
Tension, I wasn't on a...
They're a bit of a constant. What's the institution? They were.
Yeah, so it was like a surfing thing, bunch of pranks, kind of like Jackass, but before that.
Before
But-
Jackass was
But
cool.
surfing instead of
Was it
skateboarding.
just bodyboarding? Or was it?
Yeah, it's pretty much just bodyboarding and them falling over in supermarkets and
Yeah.
just being fools.
And a lot of punk music. I remember a lot of punk music that
Yeah.
became those things.
Yeah.
And new metal, actually.
Yeah.
There's a lot of new metal.
A lot of old stuff too. Yeah.
So you got into bodyboarding?
Yeah.
And you did that for a bit?
Well, that's why I first came to Albany. So I moved pretty young from Geraldton to Margaret River. And in winter there, I don't know if you guys know, but it is onshore, which is bad for surfing for like weeks on end. But the northwest in Margaret River, that's really bad, is perfectly offshore for Albany. So I end up gravitating here and I'm like, wow.
Yeah, it is beautiful. I love it.
Yeah, so I just I just fell in love with this place and I knew I'd end up moving back. So I had to move to and from Mugs and Albany and then to Perth for a bit of study. And then I knew that this is what I'd probably end up having as a base. So, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you didn't grow up in Albany. I grew up in Albany and I'm in love with it. I couldn't ever think about, anywhere else that has the beaches, has the mountains, has the bush.
Has the music scene as well, you know?
It's a great place.
I remember you playing the double bass. Is that correct?
Yeah, that was the big upright. I can't even fit it in my car now, so it stays in my studio.
The bass got bigger.
Yeah, the bass grew. Yeah, I'm gonna put it on a diet. I've got a sedan now. It just doesn't fit.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's been the one thing that's stopped me buying a double bass.
Oh,
You
man.
don't need to buy a bigger car.
And we were playing gigs with Minute 36 in the middle of Perth City. It is so impossible to, like, if anyone has ever played Amplifier, those stairs down the bottom where you,
That's the green room now.
I'm like, so what do I do with this? They're like, take it downstairs, mate. It was your choice. I guess so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe let's talk to people about what Minute 36 was, because we remember Minute 36. That was, funnily enough, that was the next time I met you.
So just going slightly back from that, there was a band called The Living Ends, and he used to play the double bass. So
Yeah.
big in the early 90s, I think.
Yeah, Living End,
He
man.
used to stand on his double bass.
Yeah.
He would actually balance and play the bass.
And play, yeah.
I don't know how he did it. But I remember seeing you playing in the early iterations of Minute 36 and thinking, this guy's the coolest guy ever.
Oh, well, thank you. I definitely wasn't. The good thing about double bass is you can just play root notes, which is kind of my thing.
Your power chords?
Yeah.
My power chords, but no one's going to go, that's boring, because it's like, well, look at it, man. It's hard. It's hard to play. But the best thing is with the double bass, if you're not sure where you're at, just go to the lowest note, and it's so low that it doesn't sound out. No one can really hear what note it is.
It's like an 808.
Exactly. And I just had that trick. If ever I hit a bum note, which was a lot, I just look at the guitarist and go, come on, man. You know, get your shit together, mate. Yeah.
So 29 Channels in September was like, we're calling that punk rock mixed with heavy.
Yeah, it was like a post-hardcore thing, I think they called it. Yeah.
Right. And then Minute 36 was kind of a completely different thing. It was like I'm going to tell you what my impression
Oh, please
was.
do.
It was kind of like, it was like horror movie music. Like it was quirky, kind of very Tim Burton sounding.
Yeah, man.
But it had something about it reminded me of like this steampunk feel.
Oh.
And I think part of that might have been your massive posters. I remember your posters were like...
Yeah, that was sort of a little bit of a joke we had with Jeff Scott, because we made him a poster that was like A1 or something.
Yeah.
Like,
They were bigger than A1.
oh, yeah, but then he's like, man, I can't put these anywhere, these are too big. So then we got the A0s. And we go, there you go, Jeff, you know. And he's like, where the fuck do I put this? You know, and it's like, this sounds like your problem, man.
I remember Caleb and I went to a gig next door at the White Sail with Jeff.
Next door at the place that we shall not name.
We shall not name it. We shall not be named. And I remember us having a competition to see who could touch the edge of the poster, and we just couldn't reach the edge of the minute.
And the most amazing thing...
We rocked up to put up our poster, and our poster was like... It might have been like an A4.
Yeah.
It was like...
There's nowhere to put it.
It was next to this thing.
And like, between A4 and A0, I don't know, some people may know, but like, the size difference is unbelievable. Like,
Yeah,
it takes up half the wall. And
It was awesome.
but the thing is, they cost $1 each.
Yeah, I remember chatting to Mark.
$1.
And like, we were paying more money because ours were in colour.
Yeah.
And shiny.
Don't do
I remember
colour.
Mark saying the exact same thing, just going, oh, they're black and white. And I remember they were all hand drawn, which was like really cool aesthetic as well.
Yeah, my cousin was really good at that stuff. So he's like, you like this? And I'm like, yeah, can we blow this up really big? And he'd be like, yeah, I'll give it to you in a vector, or whatever that means. And I'm like, thank you.
Yeah, wait.
And we get it printed out, and yeah, it was so good rolling in and putting them up. And Jeff's just going like, why do you guys do this to me?
What have you done to me? So how did you transition from pop punk, hardcore, post-punk, post-hardcore, whatever you want to call it, into... Actually, how would you describe it in 36, first of all?
36 for me was just like, I didn't want to use any normal chord.
Yeah.
Any chords, that the three that I knew, I didn't want to use them. So there's a lot of sevenths, there's a lot of chords where I don't know what they're called to this day.
Yeah.
Like, I honestly couldn't tell you.
Yeah.
I don't even know if they're real chords.
Yeah.
And
It's a
then...
real chord, it has a fancy name.
Exactly, it's suspended fifth with a whatever.
Augmented nine.
Yeah, that was my kind of goal for it. It was just going to be a side project, like just a little thing for me to work on, to try and push myself and do something a little different. And it kind of took off to a point where I was like, oh, okay, I'm doing this now.
Yeah.
A lot of 3/4 timing, bit of 5/8 timing.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember there being time signature changes within the song itself.
Yeah, and I kind of shot myself in the foot because whenever a member moved on to train someone else up, because it was just nonsense stuff, man. Like, it was just like, what is that?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know, but it's this. Do that, you know? And yeah, it was really hard getting new members in, and the band was a struggle. There's a double bass with it. It was...
Had a lot of things going against you, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, but it was my own fault. Like, I set myself up for these failures, and so I took them on the chin.
But you toured that a fair bit as well. Like, I remember you touring with your double bass all over the place.
Yeah, I had to hire one when I was in Canada.
Yeah.
Because we couldn't get it on the plane. They was like, no. So we hired one over there, and there's no frets on a double bass. So some people might pick up a different guitar and go, this action's weird, it feels different. But a double bass, because there's no frets, you've got to... It's all just you remembering. And say, for example, say an A on the E string is like halfway down this bit, the next string won't be the same, it'll be up a touch, and then the one after that will be down a touch to be in. And so you've really got to learn that instrument, and that's your...
So was that an absolute struggle, that tour?
Actually, I got this German bass. It was like 150 years old, and it was so beautiful. The guy dropped it down to the gig, let me play it, and then picked it up and drove it back for me.
Was it hard to find a double bass to hire in Canada?
Man, there was like, I think 100 options.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
It was, they love their double basses over there, apparently.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. A lot of bluegrass, I guess, in Canada.
Yeah, man, yeah.
Yeah, cool. Great. And so, Minute 36, how long did that go for? Because I think we were under a different name. I think we were under the name of Oblivion, which was...
That's right,
It
yeah.
sounds like death metal. And we learned how to lesson naming bands by things that pigeonhole you straight away into a sound. We weren't death metal.
We used to rock up to gigs and people would go, Oblivion! And we're like, sorry, we're a pop punk band. Everyone thought we were a band. Pop, soft pop,
it was,
bad pop.
yeah, like at the time we had a drummer who was into ska, so like third
Awesome.
wave ska.
Yeah, man.
So he was like super busy playing his drums like it was a percussion, like not even like a straight thing the whole way through. I was into Chili Peppers, like that was my big thing. Yeah. And you're into Jimmy Eat World.
Bad rock.
And and like Tool and Carnival.
It was a weird mix.
So we were like kind of alternative rock, but that's what we were doing when we met you, and that would have been like probably, I don't know, maybe 2012?
2012, yeah, 2012 sounds about right.
10 years.
Yeah, I think that lasted about 5 or 6 years properly, that band. I did it solo for a bit under that name, and I obviously went to guitar.
I was going to say, not double bass.
Yeah, just going, hey guys, check this out, like this
I'm
guy.
a bass player, I know that doesn't work.
But I kept rocking up to venues, even though specifying in the emails that I'm going to be solo, and they're like, where's the band, you know? So I was like, So I had to change that. And to be honest, I ran out of ideas to record 3, 4 and 5/8 songs. Like, there's only so much you can do with that, man.
It is interesting. Like, I know I've talked to Aaron about this. Like, I have this theory because in music, like in our modern Western music, like we've effectively most of our songs will be played with 4 chords, and they're all in 4/4 timing. And so I reckon if you were to change one of those, like just the time signature alone, and people weren't allowed to play in 4/4, which is like right, all top pop artists have to write in 3/4 or 6/8 or whatever. All of a sudden, there would be an explosion of creativity in that area, I think. Because you think about the amount of songs that sound drastically different, that are all done with those 4 chords in 4/4 time. Like, if you were just to do that in a different time signature and force people, I reckon things would actually happen.
Yeah, well, there's a story about Dylan, Bob Dylan, that when he got his band, you know, and everyone was like, oh, you changed it, whatever. he used to just rock up and go, by the way, we're doing it all in 3/4 tonight, guys. It's going to be a waltz. And you go, what? They already don't like what we're doing. It's like 3/4 everything. I love that. Yeah, so...
Like pirate music or
Yeah, and he just, I'm bored, and we're going to do this.
I
And-
suppose it doesn't matter with these songs, like melodies.
They're already boring.
No.
Sorry.
Blasphemy. It's blasphemy.
It's just it's very much about the lyric. It's not about the melody.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So influences. What did you grow up listening to and loving?
At the moment, I'm actually a massive Noah Khan fan as well.
Wow.
Yeah.
He's brilliant. He's really good, yeah. But growing up, it was punk rock or mum's records, which was Dylan, Fleetwood Mac, that kind of era. Dad was more of, I think, Deep Purple kind of rock guy. But mum had all the records and the cassette tapes. You know, yes, I'm that old. And
Back in vogue, though.
yeah, she was just trendy. Yeah. But yeah, so there's a lot of that older stuff where I guess I grew up on it, but I didn't, I was a punk rock kid that was on the surfing vids and the skate vids, and but that was always there in the background, so like with the folk stuff I'm doing now, it's sort of come full circle. I started acoustic and then went through the punk and all the weird stuff, and now I'm sort of back full circle back to the folk stuff, and yeah.
And so I suppose it was a pretty natural progression for you doing the Minute 36 thing, doing solo Minute 36, and now kind of like, do you ever play any Minute 36 songs now? They're just...
I do every now and then. When there's someone that I haven't seen for a while, when I tour up north and stuff, someone yells out a song and I'm like, oh God, here we go. But they act like they want to hear it, but it doesn't sound like they remember it, because I mess them up all the time. They're like, it's spot on, man, that was perfect. And I'm like, oh yeah, got ya.
Yeah. I know some of your stuff's still on YouTube, because I was checking it out.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think Secrets that you filmed down here.
Oh yeah, Mel and Moon, yeah.
Yeah.
Very talented man, that guy.
So, so now with the music that you're doing now, do you think that, apart from, obviously it's changed a little bit musically, lyrically, have things kind of changed as well, or?
No, I don't think so. No. I think I can't really write about anyone else's stuff. It all comes from, and it's not really stuff that's happening to me at the time. I need time to process that, and then I can go, like, that's a cool line to describe that really bad year I had, or that really bad decade I had. And that stuff seems to come naturally to me now.
So in terms of inspiration, you said your parents' records didn't overly influence you, but where do you draw your lyric inspiration from?
I read a lot of like philosophy books and stuff like that. And just that different way of thinking, I think. I like wordplay, I like... I'll never have a line just because it rhymes,
Oh.
Yeah.
That was ironic.
Except that one, no.
So, like, because when I listen to your songs, like, for me and Aaron, like, I'm the lyric dude, and Aaron's the melody dude. Like, I'm pretty useless when it comes to melody, but I really like lyrics. And I think when I listen to your songs, I really hear, like, a bit of... I think, for me, it kind of ties it together. That, like, the band Brand New.
I love Brand New,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I can hear that, because it's kind of like, even with your 29 Shadows of September through to now, like I can hear the...
that influence kind of...
Yeah, that wordplay and the dealing with those, darker, heavier things. But
Yeah.
like, I don't know.
Yeah, for sure, man. I was a massive Brand New fan growing up. They sort of did the pop punk to almost a folky thing with one of their records, and then they went kind of heavy with a lot of pedals and stuff, which I didn't lose interest, but yeah, it was a lot of that, where I was sort of started leaning back into the organic instruments and really loving the sound of a double bass and a stripped back kit, and just the inconsistencies and the imperfections in those instruments is kind of what I like, which is weird because we're all striving for some level of perfection, I think, especially with recordings and production, but I love all those, like when the double bass buzzes out in a certain bit, or like you can hear the finger slides on an acoustic, and it's like, I don't know, there's just something.
It's not a MIDI double bass.
Yeah, man. Oh, have you heard those? Oh my God. Whoever created that should...
It's amazing what you can do not knowing a single instrument, or I know a guy, I'm not going to mention his name, but he doesn't play an instrument or sing, but he releases records, and I'm really annoyed because they kind of sound better than us.
Yeah, and some of that stuff he's getting really good, man.
Now, but
also the way that some of those guys program that stuff is genius as well. Like I couldn't do it.
It's a different art,
yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Still art.
So I didn't mean to be against that stuff, by the way. I was just saying, A MIDI double bass, just don't. It's,
And so, like, hearing your opening bio, you know, you've won WAM Awards and you've opened for some pretty big acts. Are there any moments where you've kind of gone, like you've had to pinch yourself and go, this is really cool that I'm opening for this band? Or is there, I don't know, is there some support act that you've really enjoyed?
yeah, actually, any support I get, even if it's crew touring through Albany from Perth or anything like that, I really enjoy supporting crew because you get to chat to them and see what they're doing and make those networks, which I think kind of what it's about. But I think a lot of that stuff that people read on bios, that's been over a long time, right?
Yeah.
So that looks like, wow, killing it. And no, it's very... There's a big gap in between any of those kind of achievements, and it might look... I don't want to sound negative here, but it might look really like, whoa, you've done so much. But to me, it seems like I need to get some stuff happening, you know? Like it's so... I think it's like anything, right? From the outside, it might look like you've done a lot, but I don't. I feel like I could have done a hell of a lot more. I feel quite lazy sometimes. Yeah.
Well, don't feel lazy because if I know Caleb and I often try and get to venues and listen to live music, and if we're ever at a venue, you are there playing, and we're like, we're a lot. We're impressed. We love it. We love it. Like, yeah, Chris is doing this. And you've been doing that since you were 17, 18, which is, I'm not good at maths. What's that? 20 years? 15 years?
Not for me, 20 years.
Since I was 18, it was like 5 years or something. Yeah.
Have you got a song that you've written that is your favourite or one of your, like, represents what you're trying to put across at all?
No, I don't know.
Yeah.
Nah. I know people like certain songs that I've done, but I've never been 100% happy with one. No. I don't. Maybe that's a good thing. Maybe I won't be. But I mean, it doesn't. Yeah. No, I don't really have one, no. It changes.
Do you get frustrated when people ask for a particular song that you don't necessarily love?
All I get is, when are you going to write a happy song, man? It's like, if you love happy songs so much, buy a guitar, learn a song and you play it. You know?
Right.
No, and look, Demons that we're going to play tonight, man, it's mostly major chords in that chorus.
Yeah.
And come on,
Yes.
that's as happy as it gets.
Feels happy.
Yeah, it's happy-ish.
It feels happy.
But it's kind of ironic at the end, yeah.
Oh, that's good. Cool. Should we get into doing?
Yeah, sure.
Play 3 songs for us tonight. Can you tell us a little bit about the 3 songs you're going to play?
All one of them. Let's start with one. Let's start with one.
All right, what do you want to start with, boys?
What do you want to start with? Do you want to?
Maybe Demons?
Demons
Demons is about demons.
Demons.
So, yeah.
That's
it.
sort of gives it away, doesn't it?
No, the whole song is kind of about like you.
Not very subtle, by the way.
No, true. I used to make working titles that were like that long.
Yeah.
Didn't have anything to do with the song.
Did you ever find, like, we fall into the trap where it's like, oh, we don't know what to call it. Let's just call it that. And then it sticks.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, because you can't ever change it, because now whenever you think of a song, you think of that title.
Exactly, and when it becomes a working title, and then you get different band members, and the original band's like, let's play this one, and they're looking at you like, what are you talking about? It's like, oh, that was the working title, and we've changed it 8 times, and yeah.
We've got a song that we wrote. We haven't released it yet. There's a song, and it's called Japanese Roads, because one of the sounds that we're playing is like a roads.
Ah, yeah,
It's
right.
like a Japanese
It
one.
feels very Japanesey. I don't know.
And so we just call it Japanese Roads, we're just like, this is a useless title, but it's stuck. And now forever we go, oh, let's play Japanese Roads, and we're just like, oh.
And it's kind of interesting, because I'd look at that title, and I'd be listening to the lyrics going like, where's the...
What's
Yeah,
the
yeah.
connection?
And if there's not, I'm like, I'm
How
stupid,
deep
I'm
is
not
this
getting
title?
it. Yeah.
So Demons is about demons.
Demons is kind of about when you do everything right and you change your life to try and be like an adult, you know, when you finally, I better get my shit together and grow
Be
up.
responsible.
And you do it and then nothing really changes anyway, even though you're doing all the right things, and it's way less fun, so you think, well, I might as well just be the way I was, and you know. But it's also like there's a little bit of hope in there as well. You got to listen real careful, but there's some positive stuff in there, I promise.
Hopeful demons.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Fantastic. Cool. All right. Well, give us a minute. We'll get set up, and we'll be back with some live music. Thank you.
My bad. capos and all, love it. How you guys feeling, alright? Doing well, man. Yeah, that's cool.
And you start. That's it. All right.
All right. All right.
That's good. Let's do it.
Only wake me up before you leave. I'll be fighting these demons in my sleep. While all my friends are playing dead, I'll be making peace with my defeat. I'm sick of chasing everything I want, till I'm left with nothing at all. I just brace myself, I nurse a wish. I got a feeling the star's about to fall. I got a feeling we're all just gonna fall. We're all just gonna fall. I'm stuck in this same old change, trapped by my own escape. And there's a hairline fracture in the lens. Tripped on a small mistake. It turns out that's all it takes to keep pushing hard enough, my friends. And sooner or later, you know something's gotta give. Yeah, it's gotta give. Well, I think my conscience broke, 'cause I just don't feel anything at all. Dear God, return my calls, or just send me some of that self-control. I'll be choking down the dregs of my doubt to make room for the gun inside my mouth. I spent my whole life trying to fight my way in. Now all I want is out. Just feels too crowded now, and all I want is out. I'm stuck in this same old change, trapped by my own escape. And there's a hairline fracture in the lens. I tripped on a small mistake, or sometimes that's all it takes. But keep pushing hard enough, my friends. And sooner or later, you know something's gotta give. Yeah, something's gotta give. I'm stuck in this same old change, trapped by my own escape. There's a hairline fracture in the lens. I tripped on a small mistake, or sometimes that's all it takes. But keep pushing hard enough, my friends. And sooner or later, you know something's gotta give. Thanks so much. Can you guys just give these legends another round of applause? Yeah, right now, actually. We've run these songs through like maybe once, maybe twice.
And they're like, yep, got it. And I'm like, wow, it's a similar beat to what I'm doing in the studio at the moment, or piano riff or bass stuff that took me a month. These guys are just kind of talking, going, yeah, how's that? And I'm like, wow, perfect. By the way, you guys free next week to re-record my whole record for me? Not even a joke. This song's called Heavy Hollow. I'm working on this one at the moment in the studio. Like I said, I'm probably going to redo it with these lads, but yeah, this one's just another life one. It's a bunch of gibberish that comes out of my head. Gets written in 17 notebooks, and I condense them down and put them in a song. Then we should tell them there's no escape. Even the wildest ones are tamed. Save your prayers, it's way too late. There's no such place as hell anyway. The scar cries like a child bride, just hides behind a veil of dirty white. I'm passed out in this burning house. I'm never gonna make it out in time. My days, they seem patient, but tomorrow doesn't wait. A decade too old now and a few generations late. It's a heavy kind of hollow that I crave. This emptiness is gonna take up all my space. This emptiness is gonna take up all my space. My heartbeat sheet reminds me to breathe, but I hold my breath tonight. 'Cause my bloodstream's mostly just pumping caffeine, fear and compromise. I only found the longest way round. I can't say when I'll be home, but even my grieving widow knows there's worse things than being alone. My days, they seem patient, but tomorrow doesn't wait. A decade too old now and a few generations late. It's a heavy kind of hollow that I crave. And this emptiness is gonna take up all my space. This emptiness is gonna take up all my space. My days, they seem patient, but tomorrow she don't wait. A decade too old now and a few generations late. It's a heavy kind of hollow that I crave. This emptiness is gonna take up all my space. This emptiness is gonna take up all my space. Thanks so much. So this next one, me and the lads kind of learned it together on Tuesday night. I was like, I got this new one that's not ready, we should definitely play it. And they're like, let's do it. Yeah, if there's any mistakes, it's these guys. And don't even trade some kind of shitty deal I made, how they say. The fragile bad news is always the hardest to break. It's a vibrant kind of grey. All she could do is watch as I try metabolize this loss. And this newfound calm I got is just a lazy kind of chaos. But it's all I got.
So I lay low, I keep my head down, wait it out, I'll take it slow. And when it all starts coming down, I'll aim for home. I gotta find my place and take this on just day by day. Well, I can't tell the difference between the ending or the start. In a script that's full of victims, your plot's just gonna fall apart. There's too many city lights posing as stars. You can drag around your doubt or try and keep up in hope. You better work it out, man, as I learn you can't do both. Or so I'm told. So I lay low, keep my head down, wait it out, I'll take it slow. When it all starts coming down, I'll aim for home. I gotta find my place and take this on just day by day. I got a storm inside my head, an ocean in my chest. I keep trying to change myself so much I forget who I am, which is probably for the best. And this time it just won't stop, it seems. We're young and then we're not. You gotta find something to hold as these days just keep racing like my pulse. I thank God I got you to lean on. So I lay low, keep my head down, wait it out, I'll take it slow. When it all starts coming down, I'll aim for home. I gotta find my place and take this on just day by day. Lay low, keep your head down, wait it out, man, take it slow. When it all starts coming down, I'll aim for home. I gotta find my place and take this on just day by day. Thanks so much. Cheers.
Chris Nelson, everybody. Chris Nelson. Chris, there's one thing that we were meant to ask Ginny, which we can ask her later. If we want to check out your music, what would you love a fan to do most, or how would you like a fan to find you?
Just be super patient, because it'll take ages and nothing's up yet. Sorry.
Do you have CDs, or do you prefer Spotify or YouTube, or come to a gig?
Who knows?
Follow you on social media.
Yeah.
You do so many gigs.
I do a lot of gigs. I'm not a real social media guy, but I'll be a social media guy if you guys follow me and want to know what's going on. I'm not too good at self-promotion.
Most of us artists aren't.
Yeah.
It's the best.
I'm too busy spending like 6 months on every line I write and then change my mind to scrapping everything. Yeah.
I love it. If you rock up to a venue, you'll probably see Chris playing an album. Chris Nelson, everybody, give it up for him.
Okay, so our next guest is a man who has experienced much of the musician life and has continued to forge his own path, from playing small isolated pubs all over Australia to touring overseas locations like America and Canada and more. His mug is often seen on posters or newspaper articles around the Great Southern region, but it's not for robbing banks, it's because he's involved in so many great original musical outfits. You may have spotted him playing with his wife under the name Simon and Tony London, or his sold-out shows with Big Hitters, the Red Tails, which features his wife, as well as the talented Bart Gretson on drums, and Vicky Thorne of Waif's Notoriety. And of course, you might have seen him in this very building on this very stage about a fortnight ago, playing with his very own band, Simon London and the Spirits, which is a very soulful outfit that treads between the lines of alternative rock, blues, ballads, and ethereal sounds. Please welcome to the stage, Mr. Simon London.
Simon, good to see you. Welcome.
It's been a long time.
That's been a long time. It's been at least half an hour since we saw you last.
I've been instructed by Dave to use the lapel mic. Because as you can see, I have a lot of lapels. Alrighty, let's give that a
We've
go.
got a second. I just want to give it up to Dave, our sound guy. He's here on a Thursday night. Yeah! Usually there's one or two microphones, and we're like, oh, we've just got a few things here tonight. So thanks, Dave. This is the first time 6 Degrees have used these lapel mics, so thank you for 6 Degrees for buying it.
Thank you.
And thanks for Dave for sorting out our sound.
Well, are we live yet? This is live.
It's very corporate, isn't it?
You're a very corporate kind of guy.
It's got a green light. Radio 3. Can you read me?
Do you read? Possibly.
Yep. 1, 2.
I don't know if your lapel's going to cut it.
This one's still on.
No, you can't go past the windshield mic.
Are you sure?
Bada bing!
Sorry. Drama.
It's alright.
Cool.
Puns are good.
So first of all, I've got a question just to clarify for everybody, because I've been asked this when I've been in the audience. Is that his real name? Because it sounds like Simon London sounds like a name that was destined to be up in lights.
Well, something went wrong there, didn't it?
Hey, you're under lights.
No, yep. It's the real deal.
That's the real deal.
Yep,
That's the real deal.
yep. Maybe I should have come up with a different city.
What?
London's kind of dreary, isn't it,
Simon
really?
Sydney?
Yep, no.
So alliteration?
Yep. No, sorry. I've got nothing else. Yeah, that's it. That's the one I was born
You
with.
know like Bob Dylan or...
No. No, I can see the temptation to kind of come up with a fake name, but
Yeah,
no.
that's right. You're amongst similar company. My name actually is Caleb, and this actually is...
Yeah. Except I don't have the gold jacket, so
That's true.
yeah.
We spoke to
There's a subtle sense of segregation going on, but it's all right.
Yeah, we are also higher than you, so...
We spoke to our publicist and we said, or our show lady, well, we want the nicest jackets that $50 can buy, and this is what we got.
This is what we got.
Yeah, as I was sitting next to a great friend, and as she said, the only thing we're missing is a mirror ball. How good would these look? How good would these look under a mirror ball?
That's true.
Yeah.
Very cool. We'll have to get the disco dancing going.
Yep.
Simon, have you always been in Albany? Did you grow up here?
I wasn't born here, but my parents moved down here when I was really young, and so I've kind of been Albany based throughout my whole life, although I've lived in Freo and overseas and whatever. I guess in my head, in my heart, I've always felt like this was home. And then when I met my wife and we went overseas and decided we're going to come back to Albany, you've been around the world, see lots of different things, and it's the place you want to come back to. So,
That's true.
yeah.
And so,
Yeah.
how does the big...
Oh, you're not very corporate anymore, Caleb.
I'm trying to be very corporate. How about I'll just project my voice. By the way, I usually don't sound like this.
When Caleb rang me up yesterday at about this time, and I could hardly hear him.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
so I actually called up Aaron and I said, I'm afraid we might be doing the Penn and Teller show. So I didn't think I was going to have a voice at all. But
Give him that one.
He's
we'll
found.
try this one.
Oh, here we go.
So, where does your...
You should really get a mic with your condition of your voice.
That's what I should. Where does your musical journey start? How did you get into music? Were your parents...
I reckon my mum... I have a childhood memory of my mum coming back from... It was a blackout, like a power outage. Not at a festival. At home. And I remember my mum coming back from having guitar lessons, and she was learning how to play, like... boom, dum, dum, boom, dum, dum, dum.
3/4 music. Hey, that's a shout out, Chris.
Yeah. It wasn't 6/8, 3/4 for sure. No 5/8s. Anyway, and that guitar she put down because she obviously became less interested in learning how to play the guitar. And I just picked that up and started working out how to play chords and working out songs on the radio, and just then started writing my own songs, pretty much. Yeah.
So early on...
Okay, your turn.
yeah.
didn't have a voice. So what was the catalyst to get you into music? Was it your parents, or what spurred you from listening to their records and their influence to writing your own stuff?
I honestly can't say. I just have always just wanted to. I guess you sort of, I don't know. We all feel things and see things, and maybe some way you can kind of put it all together in a song. And yeah, there's that beats trying to explain it any other way. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I know that. Like when we started. Before we started the movie, when we were in a band called Like Thief, it was a three-piece, we had a drummer, blah, blah, blah. I remember our ethos for writing music was we wanted to put something positive out into the world. Like, so it was like,
I've never really been that chipper.
Well, I suppose
there's not enough misery.
Like,
you need to spread more misery, Caleb.
I know, I feel like that's not so much
it's not pretty much misery.
But I know that was, I don't know, that was the way that we approached writing. And I know that when I write songs just by myself, they usually turn out quite dark, which is fine because it's like a journal, it's like a processing. But then when we kind of got together, we kind of had
musically.
We're
happily married to women,
but so with someone in the spirit, so I'm lucky enough to actually be one of the spirits at the moment.
Indeed, you are. Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm lucky enough to have you, man.
Well,
So
I'm joining the lead. I'll sit in the
stick around for long enough. You might join too.
So one thing that I've noticed, being able to be part of the songwriting and the spirit shows, usually I'm back there, so I can kind of like take it in a bit more. I can see how the crowd's responding with you at the front. And I notice that people really seem to stop and really listen to what you're singing, what you're saying. I think it's really special. Who in the audience has seen Summer London and the Spirits? Yeah! People. And I know that the feeling is when you're high on stage, we'll just stop and then listen. Is that something you're aware of?
Probably not. I'm probably thinking about, okay.
The next one.
No, which pedal am I going to press next? Yeah. No, I guess the thing. Sounds like we're about to take off.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. I guess no, not really. I've never, to be honest, I've never really been much of a kind of A-type personality performer. I write music because I feel a compulsion to, and then I get up and play it because if you're going to write it, you've got to play it.
Yeah.
And I remember there have been different times in my musical journey in different bands across, the years, so the decades so far. I think some of my compadres have been frustrated with me because I haven't been that kind of front man. Yeah. I know we used to have a sound guy that we used to tour with a lot. He'd be like, "Man, you got to be more like a front man, No. I'm like, it's just, like, where am I going to dig this from? So I guess it's more, for me, it's more about writing the song, presenting the song, putting it out there, and I suppose, singing from from the right place. I think that's a really important thing. Like, I remember, it's kind of topical. I remember standing in the crowd at Blues and Roots in Freo. I used to kind of get these tickets because I was involved in the city of Freo, and I used to go every year. And I'd never been a huge Sinead O'Connor fan. Like, I'd appreciated what she'd done. But I remember standing in the crowd, and it was like, when she was singing, it was like I was being pierced in the heart. Not in a bad way, but just like, boom, like the resonation just hit me right here. And I guess that's, when you come across an artist that can really hit home, just because of the character of their voice, or just because of something they're projecting, or just because of some quality they have, and it just resonates with you. So, that's from a performance point of view. I guess I'm just trying to sing from a pure place so that it comes out right. And then if people want to get on that train, then cool. And if they don't like what we're doing, then hey, it's a free country.
That's true.
At the moment.
Yeah, and I think you hit something right there. There's an authenticity that people connect with, and sometimes that can come through like sonically, can go through music, people can really be expressive. And then other times it can be lyrically, a lot of people connect
Yeah.
lyrically. And I think as an artist, that's a journey, isn't it? Trying to find, trying to be real with yourself and not put on a persona. Like I said, it's a really awkward thing to do if you're not naturally a very extroverted person, because to communicate those songs, you need to do that.
True.
In front of the audience, which to a degree you're kind of putting on something that isn't yourself.
Yeah, I think in actual fact it's the other way around. You just got to dig deeper within yourself. And I think for me, songwriting and performance, that thing is where you just got to... you can always dig deeper. You can always find something deeper within yourself and then try and bring that out. That's like, I remember listening to Neil Young talking about it. He was talking more about his one-note guitar solos. But just that whole thing of digging deeper, like it doesn't actually matter what it is, as long as you're digging deeper and trying to find something deeper within yourself. Yeah, and you talked about, people resonate with lyrics or with melody or whatever. And I was listening to Chris talk about all those, confounding chords that you don't really understand. I hear you, brother. I'm not a theory guy. I've never had a lesson in my life. But for me, it's about sound. So I'm just chasing sound and sound that makes me feel something. So, I admire those technical people who could rip out amazing solos and can tell you that they've just, played the diptotonic third of the tetratronic sixth in a adjunct something or other. Yeah, and I'm like, that's cool, man. But I just want to feel something.
Yeah.
So I'm always blown away by the quantity of songs you write. I've heard of Caleb, and Caleb will rock up to the band practice and he'll go, "You never believe it, Simon's just wrote 10 more songs." And I'm like, we're still trying to write one, it's like, it's been 6 months. That's true. What's your inspiration?
I don't know, I'm looking for a support group. Is there a support group?
You are prolific.
I don't know if anyone knows one.
You're prolific.
What's the inspiration behind many, many songs regularly?
To be honest, I don't think it's inspiration. It's more that I'm going to try and explain this without trying to sound like a wanker.
No.
But
nobody thinks you're complex.
I remember having there's this really amazing music journalist that I know, and I remember her saying, I reckon I've got a couple of books in me. I really want to sit down one day and write a book. And she said, how is it with your songs? I said, to be honest, it's not a choice. The songs demand to be heard and they kind of demand that you listen. And because I have 4 young kids and my life's pretty crazy, most of my kind of music time, as in when songs are trying to push on through, it's like at crazy hours, anywhere between 2 and 5 in the morning. It's no word of a lie. That's generally when it happens, or I walk out of the shower with a drum beat in my head, and that's.
Do you record it straight away?
I do. And my wife thinks here we go again. Can you just put him to bed?
Why
I'm like, I will in a second. Hang on. Jenny's talking about So I have way too many ideas to do anything with, but I guess songs demand to be heard to me, and so. It's not that I go looking for them, but if you listen, they're there and they want to be heard and they're sort of knocking on the door. Again, it comes back to that whole thing of digging deep. For me, there's different levels of songs, and there's surface level songs, and then there's songs which really come from some other place. And I think probably one of the arts of a songwriter, maybe, I don't know, is to be able to recognise the difference. I wish I had it that I could. Most people who know me well know that my memory is pretty ordinary. So if I had good memory, I'd be able to dictate the kind of a hierarchy. But essentially, there's genius at the top, and then there's really friggin' good. And then there's excellent emulation, and then there's kind of emulation, and then there's ordinary, and then there's... And I think with songs, you kind of... when you're kind of digging deep, you're trying to get to the top of that pyramid to try and get something unique. And sometimes something unique kind of falls in your lap and you go, huh. And honestly, like, it's not an egocentric thing, because if it's of you, if you've brought it into the world, this is my little take anyway. I mean, I'm happy to hear alternative views, maybe later. But if you're kind of digging deep and stuff lands in your lap, it's almost not of you. It's sort of like it's just come in and landed in your lap, and lucky you.
And I think even from like listening to great artists and things that I admire, they often say the same thing. I know someone that both you and I both really admire. Nick Cave talks about that a lot.
Sure.
Sometimes your antenna is just kind of happens to catch something.
Yeah.
Or it's out in the ethos there.
Yeah.
And but he's a man of hard work. I know that he'll wake up in the morning, he'll spend 4 hours at his typewriter.
Lucky him, mate. Who has that time? I'm like, I read that. I was like, yeah, I wouldn't mind sitting around for 8 hours, sitting in front of my typewriter with a guitar in my hand, going, yeah.
I suppose you can.
Right, in a pinstripe suit with a glass of wine.
I remember when I first went to the US with the band that I was in, Oka, and we lost our bass player, and we had to hole up in this we had to find somewhere we were going to train up our new bass player. Anyway, this is like in the central coast of California, and so we didn't know at the time, but it turned out that and the irony of the situation, our bass player didn't get in because he had a drug conviction as when he was an 18-year-old in South Australia. Anyway, so he didn't get in, and so where do we end up? Our manager rings a mate who happens to be the biggest cocaine dealer in the Central Coast, and we didn't know that. And he goes, oh yeah, I can set up in my basement. So we set up in this basement of this place.
And while you're here,
yeah, no, and so we're all working hard training this new bass player, and all these people just kept turning up. We're like, I don't think we're that interesting, but we weren't actually. They were just picking up their supplies. But he was a songwriter, and he used to say, because it was like in that part of Pebble Beach, Central Coast, there's all these Monterey Bay pines and whatever, and he goes, oh yeah, the songs, they just come in, and you just got to be listening for them, and you got to catch them when they pass you, and it's true, they're just drifting through the ether, and you just got to have your antenna on.
Yeah, and the alternative to that is like the reality is that you need to keep working at the art as well. But it can. You got
to keep turning up. You got to keep trying to listen.
Yeah.
And life has all these surface things that happen to us that take our mind into other places where we worry about shit that doesn't really matter, or we get caught up in the day-to-day detail. But in the background, the ocean is still breaking, and the wind's still blowing, and there's the noise of the wind in the trees is still there, and someone, I guess you got to try and listen. Yeah.
Because this is way off topic.
Where are we going, Caleb?
Well, with this whole idea of AI music, artificial intelligence, things like that, and I don't want to go down the rabbit hole, but
come on, let's go.
There is something very human about writing music, but it can be very formulaic as well. And I suppose what you're talking about is trying to just capture the human element of it, isn't it?
Well, I guess that's the thing is what sends really amazing songwriters apart, whether it's Sinead O'Connor's voice or whether it's, the weird, very single note guitar solos from Neil Young or whatever. Power chords, weird chords, you don't even know what they are, standing on your bass. No, I'm even losing my track here. No, I guess, it's the qualities of those individuals. No one else sings a Tom Petty song like Tom Petty, and you can have all these cover artists in the world. I mean, they can all, I'm not interested.
Maybe play it better than Tom Petty.
I just want to hear Tom sing it, and that's it. And no one can make their guitar sound like Mike Campbell can, Tom Petty's guitarist. So, I guess so AI's coming, it's here apparently, and it's going to write a lot of production music, and it's going to write a lot of pop music. I think people are always going to be looking for that human connection. They're going to be looking for that resonance that hits them in a spot that nothing else does. So, yeah.
So in terms of recording, I know you went away recently to work with a guy called James Newhouse in Bunbury to record. We've had the pleasure of working with him. He's an absolute legend.
He is.
If anyone's looking to record,
Yeah.
James Newhouse. How do you find translating your songwriting into the recording process?
Yeah. So ever since, so maybe the first band I was in, our first recording, we did track by track. But ever since then, I just don't believe in it. All the bands that I like record live. And so, yeah, and it's cheap too. Like if you can get a band that can play well and you just, boom, off you go. So I guess for me, it's just recording live in the studio. So I don't know, if those of you who aren't kind of doing a lot of recording, essentially a lot of the stuff that you hear on the radio and, a lot of hits and whatever, the drummer will go in, put down their part, the bass player will go in, put down their part, the guitarists will go in and put their part down, and when it's all there, the vocalist will go in and put their part in. It sounds like, shoot me now kind of tedium.
And then the producer will change it.
Yeah, and then someone will come and go, oh, no, we need this guitar part and we're going to chop this and chop that. So the bands that I've always played in, it's always live in the studio. So you just turn up and there's a mic on everything, and apart from the vocals, you can't do them because everything's too loud. You just, boom, record it. And similarly for, vocals and stuff like that, you just chuck it down, like none of this take business. You just, because that's, like if you're going to try and present what you do, then you just got to be, just turn up and do it. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I reckon that's probably a pretty good plug to just quickly say thank you to all you guys for coming out and supporting this, because what you're doing is you're actually coming and you're supporting live music with all its warts and all its everything else, but also really supporting just the artists themselves.
Yeah, no, it's...
And so, so it's fantastic to have you guys come along for this.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Yeah. Thank you. You've got 2 or 3 songs for us tonight.
Yeah.
Now, I've heard one of them, you don't know what one you're going to do yet. So you learn on the fly. Are we going to know what you're going to do?
Look, I'm just...
This is a legit conversation. Simon hasn't told us what he's going to do.
So I noticed that everyone else had little rehearsals. Yeah, we haven't done that. And honestly, it's not because I'm just completely disorganised. I'm just not like a set list kind of guy. And even if I write a set list, I frequently ignore them and do something else.
Yeah, me and the drummer will start, be ready for another song, and someone will start singing another one, but it's like, what?
Yeah. It's not belligerence, it's not bloody-mindedness, it's just, I don't really know what it is, actually. Maybe someone can tell me. So I thought that I'd play, first up, I thought I'd play a song. I guess songs are interesting because they, over the passage of your career, I suppose, different songs open different doors for you. And the first one I was going to play is a song that came off the first Spirits album. And that song itself, I guess the way we recorded it and the vibe and the mood and the people that recorded it with me that were in the band at the time, I don't know, it just created a vibe which kind of opened a lot of doors and got us, quite a lot of, I guess, label interest and got us some support with management and all those sort of things you're looking for when you're an artist, and radio play and that sort of thing. That's one of those songs where, I don't know, it's sort of, some songs just become their own thing and they just like move on along without you, sort of, sometimes. Anyway, so that's the song I thought I'd start with.
Great.
And yeah.
So maybe we'll get into that. And just give us a minute, ladies and gentlemen, while we get ready.
Won't take long.
So what's his first song called?
It's called Flowers.
Flowers.
Yeah.
After the great Branded Flowers from the Killers? Is that?
No. And not even from the band that became
Oh, that's true. Ice House.
Ice House.
Ice House.
Yeah.
There we go. That's a very nice song. So, but you'll play this one by yourself, or we'll join you for another song?
Yeah, cool.
All right. Time London, ladies and gentlemen.
Thanks.
Here it is.
Nah, piss off. Get him, Mum. Get him.
And that you're in it.
Simon's cute as well, I guess. He's alright.
I wrote this song when I was living in a house in Applecross. And I don't want to sound like I'm a melodramatic... what's the name of people who... Oh, hypochondriac, because I'm not. But I got this really weird twitch in my left hand, in my left fingers, and then my other fingers. And it turned out it was just like some weird nerve thing. But I was like, you know, you look at Dr. Google and you're like, what's going on? This is a little bit before Dr. Google.
It's
and you're
terminal.
like, what's going on with this? I'm like, oh my God, it's terminal. No, it wasn't. But I was like, what would happen if this was it? You know, like if there was no more and, you know, I was dealing with that kind of context. And that's what this song Flowers kind of originally was about. Is actually people coming to see you in the hospital bed. So he's talking about all the happy songs and stuff. Well, happy songs, I don't know. They're a little overrated, right?
They all proceed through here one by one, with the smiles and the positive things they say. They're scared of losing themselves, as they are of losing me. So bring me back some flowers, a little bit of hope. Bring me back a memory of my blood on the track CD. Cause it used to be all the time I wanted anything at all, some kind of mockery. All the time I wanted anything at all. Unwanting the tragic, on the other comedy. Bring me back some flowers, some kind of memory or more. Last night I dreamt that I was sleeping. Oh, the people tried talking to me. No one knew that they were speaking. None of their words were audible to me. So I look at all the flowers and what they say to me. Scared of all the silences, losing my own chance to speak. Cause it used to be all the time I wanted anything at all, some kind tragic, neither the comedy. Bring me back some flowers, some kind of memory or more. Don't go now. Don't go now. Sha-la-la, 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 la-la, sha-la-la, 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 la-la, sha-la-la,
Thank you.
That was great.
Thanks, Aaron.
I just thought I'd add that.
So what happens next?
I don't know. You're supposed to have 2 more songs.
Yeah, I know. I've got plenty.
Apparently we're playing in some of them.
Yeah. So do you want a song that is about meeting your future wife and riding a Harley Davidson, or do you want a song that's about checking out and leaving from Perth and driving all the way to Esperance? Oh, Harley Davidson. I think Harley Davidson has it. Their branding is just so strong. This is a song. So songwriting is a weird thing because it can be weirdly prophetic. I wrote this song. I dropped in for a beer at a pub in Beaconsfield, and because it's a good thing to do sometimes. And yeah, I kind of had this idea from that about this song. You know, it became weirdly predictive because it kind of almost encapsulates the time that I met my wife, which was when my band The Spirits was playing in that other venue, which we're not allowed to call. Shall not be named. The unnameable venue that way, actually. Yeah, I don't know where I'm going. I'm going to Dylan's. No, the one next door. Anyway, and I was playing there, and my wife wandered in. Well, she wasn't my wife then, but became my wife. And I'll just sing the song, eh? We're having a rehearsal, you right? No, I don't know the chords, right? These are Chris Nelson chords. No one knows what they are. Maybe Chris does.
I'll buy you a beer if you know the chords.
We don't know.
So I don't really know that much about you. I don't really know quite the words to say, but I know that I want to get to the good stuff somehow. And I'm watching you float through the tables, and I'm watching you smiling from the bar, and I'm trying to read you for anything else you might yet be. And I think that I've worked out that I don't much like surprises when I'm looking at letting a little love on in. 'Cause I can ride you away on my big iron horse. I could keep my head down and let things run their course. I could whisper so gently the heavens would thunder on down. Maybe there's somewhere these things will align. I know it's cheap copy to keep at my line. I could whisper so gently the heavens would thunder on down. Thunder on down. Yeah, I might drift around for some little token, for a smile or a laugh, or a few words softly spoken. But I know that I want to get to the good stuff somehow. And I'm watching you. You're gentle or caring, and I'm watching you for ways to be wary, and I'm trying to read you for anyone else you might yet be. And I think that I've worked out that I don't much like surprises when I'm looking at letting a little love on in. Yeah, I think that I've worked out that I don't much like surprises when I'm looking at letting a little love on in. 'Cause I could ride you away on my big iron horse. I could keep my head down and let things run their course. I could whisper so gently the heavens would thunder on down. Maybe there's somewhere these things will align. I know it's cheap copy to see at my line. I could whisper so gently the heavens would thunder on down. And I could ride you away on my big iron horse. I could keep my head down and let things run their course. I could whisper so gently the heavens would thunder on down. And I could ride you away on my big iron horse. I could keep my head down and let things run their course. I could whisper on jelly Thank you. Cheers. Well done, Aaron.
Well done.
Who needs rehearsals, eh? Waste of time.
So with the Spirits, we brought out about 4 albums, and so we brought out our most recent one in November last year. And when we did the thing where, I don't know, I hate streaming, I hate Spotify. No offence if you're a Spotify user, but I'm just not a big fan. Anyway, so before we record it, we made the decision just to record a whole album and just release it as one block. And then we said, no, let's do it in 2 halves, side A, side B. So that's how you find it if you're a Spotify user. Spotify users tell me it's quite frustrating. Yeah, so I'm not too worried. Thank you. Wasn't that funny? Anyway, so we've been trickling singles out one by one. I think we're up to our 4th single. And which is fun because then, you know, Spotify users can find that song and they can play it just by itself. Or Spotify can randomly shuffle things so you can't find what you're after. Anyway, I'm sorry, I'll leave that alone now. This song is a song we haven't yet released as a single. What's it called, Caleb?
Safe in the Hands of Love.
Safe in the Hands of Love, yeah.
There we go.
So I remember songs in terms of weird chords and capo positions. So it's Safe in the Hands of Love, and it's a song about winter, it's a song about birds, and it's a song about my wife. There you go.
Very good.
I'd just like to say thanks very much for supporting what these guys are trying to do. There's more of them to come, isn't there?
That's the plan.
Yeah, so tell your friends, come down to the next one. What, another month, 2 months?
2 or 3 months' time.
2 months, I reckon it'll be. Let's talk to Com, make it 2 months. Yeah, thanks for supporting everything that these guys are trying to do and for being here, and to everyone else that's come along.
Winter rain is everywhere, fills the drains and clears the air. Drive home into the setting sun, in my eyes rays golden. The Harrier, it circles around, feather tips on edge, scans the ground for movement to catch you unaware. Can't tell you why I have no second chance. I don't know why we think it would. We all cling to life with a blindsided grip, tight. When I make it home to you, tired and aching, burned and blue, your open arms are where I'll be, safe in the hands of love. When I orchestral holding space and time, aloft and moving that eye, the sky. The winter wind, it pushes sheer, whispers voices in her ear. They sing within their ancient songs, carried forth on air. A spirit in her movement to catch you unaware. She can't tell you why, no circumstance. I don't know why we think she would. When I make it home to you, tired and aching, bound and blue, your open arms are where I'll be, safe in the hands of love. When I make it home to you, tired and aching, bound and blue, your open arms are where I'll be, safe in the hands of love, safe in the hands of love, safe in the hands of love, safe in the hands of love. Yeah. Safe in the hands of love, safe in the hands of love, safe in the hands of love. Thanks very much.
Simon London, everybody.
So, we have one more surprise for you and for us as well, actually, because this is going to be something we never rehearsed. Which is always fun. But this is live music, so thank you for coming out and supporting live original music. And thank you to 6 Degrees. Let's put our hands together for 6 Degrees. Thanks to Sam. Thanks to Dave. Thanks for everyone who's made this happen. But I want to invite up our previous guests, so Chris and Junie, and we're going to attempt to play a song together.
Which you may actually know. It's a cover. It's called Dreams by Fleetwood Mac.
And
Has anyone heard that song before? Well, you can help us please sing along in the chorus because we've never done this together before, but we're really excited about it. These guys are looking a bit nervous.
we sent it out. Junie was in Bali. We said, hey, can you sing this song? She said, yes. I said, Chris, can you play the chords? Yeah. And so we'll see what happens. This will be fun.
Wrong guy.
You said yes. What's that?
Genie's going to lead the way with vocals. Whether you want to do that.
I'll just do it. If you want to sing it. So, Dave, play keys? Sorry, mate. Can we just have the mic on for the keyboard for Simon?
Because I'm so good at keyboard. I noticed you're pretty handy with a keyboard. Must be something about drummers and keyboards. That's what everyone does, man. I feel like I should be in Brodsky Beat sitting back here.
Would anyone want to solo at all? Does anyone want to break or just straight through like it's normally? All right.
feeling lonely back there.
Yeah, you're really lonely back there. Can I jump up the front?
You can sing, can't you? Let's sing together. You're all over this.
So we're as new to this as you are, but please join along with us. Is everybody ready?
Junie, you're carrying this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks.
Now here you go again. You say you want your freedom. Well, who am I to keep you down? Well, it's only right that you should play the way you feel it. But listen carefully to the sound of your loneliness, like a heartbeat drives you mad. In the stillness of remembering what you had and what you lost, and what you had and what you lost. Join in. Something happens when it's raining. There's only love you when they're playing. Say women, they will come and they will go.
That's not me.
When the rain washes you clean, you'll know.
Come back.
Now here I go again. I see the crystal vision. I keep my visions to myself, but it's only me that wants to wrap around your dreams. And have you any dreams you'd like to sell? Dreams of loneliness, like a heartbeat drives you mad. And the stillness of remembering what you had
Come on, man.
and what you lost, and what you had and what you lost. Thunder only happens when it's raining. Oh, there's only love when they're playing.
Come close to me.
Women, they will come and they will go. When the rain washes Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody. Thanks so much for having us tonight and for supporting such an amazing live talk show. Oh my God. And I'll hand back to the amazing Flood the Moon who hosted it all. Can we just get a round of applause for them?
Thank you, that's it. You've been a wonderful audience. Thank you very much for coming. Thank you.
Well done.